Late night TV has officially hit rock bottom. Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, do they care? We don't know, but Greg Gutfeld is running away from them in the ratings. And it's no surprise because the beatings they're taking have everything to do with taking late night and reducing the comedy, removing the jokes, and turning all of it into political propaganda night after night after night. We'll tell you whether or not the genre will see the light on the other side. Folks and friends, welcome back yet again to the place where we heed the call for understanding entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. It's what we do daily. And today we're talking about nightly shows, the late night shows, that is. Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, Fallon, and guess what? Gutfeld too. As we do so, click the like button and we'll tell you why. They've hit the bottom of the barrel. There's nowhere left to go. There's no down anywhere below the ground they stand upon today. Late night TV has hit absolute rock bottom. It is no longer about being funny. It is about being political. Jimmy Kimmel is out there claiming the Save America Act would make it harder for women to vote. We'll talk about it in just a second. We've got all kinds of stuff going down with propaganda. NBC poll is now claiming that Stephen Colbert and the Pope are the most popular figures in American public life. Set the Pope to the side for just a second. Let's just say, I got a feeling that Stephen Colbert is not, in fact, the most popular figure in American public life. And I know that because the ratings don't match up with it. We'll come back to both of those stories in just a second. I want to prove it to you first. Late Nighter. Weekly ratings. Kimmel Colbert share the 11:35 crown after Olympic break. Now, they always have to say that it's the 11:35 crown because they're not the kings of late night anymore, and not even close. Jed Rosenzweig has this. And by the way, we have also seen that articles no longer want to talk about late night ratings. It's very difficult for us to find anybody talking about these. And you can bet that if Colbert was going out on a win, they'd be talking about it. If Jimmy Kimmel had returned and the ratings were up every day, they would be making sure you knew about it. That's not the case. If we scroll down, I don't care about reading it, okay? I don't care about the opinions anymore. I just want the numbers, and the numbers are here. If we look at the average viewers, these are in the thousands, so 3.403 is 3.4 million. Gutfeld. Okay, at 10 p.m. on a cable news network. Cable news. Gutfeld is now pulling 3.4 million viewers. Jimmy Kimmel, the one that you're supposed to believe is the man, the myth, the legend, who came back, defeated the Orange Man, stopped the Orange Godzilla. Yeah, that's not the case. He is at 2.1 million on network TV. Let us say it again. Network TV that everybody gets. Not everybody gets Fox News, but everybody gets network TV. Jimmy Kimmel has 2.1 million views. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert has 2.4 million views. What's amazing about this is if you combine these guys with Jimmy Fallon, you combine the viewership of them and Jimmy Fallon, who has only 1.2 million, you get right around where Gutfeld is. You're low on one, slightly higher than the other, but just about the same. Gutfeld currently has viewership on a cable news network that is about equal with combining either Jimmy Kimmel or Stephen Colbert with Jimmy Fallon's viewers. That's how bad it is. You can't go lower than this. And why? Because Jimmy Kimmel has turned late night, Stephen Colbert too, into nonstop political propaganda. That's all it is. It's worse than MS Now. Here's the latest thing from Jimmy Kimmel, who's supposed to be telling jokes. I thought that's what they did at late night. I thought that was the genre. Apparently not. Here's Jimmy Kimmel.
Trump wants to make it as difficult for Democrats to vote as he possibly can under the guise of stopping voter fraud, even though there is no meaningful voter fraud. There is no...
Good Lord.
Oops.
Good Lord.
No evidence that anyone can... More Americans were eaten by wolves last year than voted fraudulently. This is...
Good Lord. They just lie like... Culture. Do you think if ID was not required that there would be alcohol and age of alcohol trickery afoot? Do you think everybody would play by the rules and every 17-year-old would just say, "Oh man, I know that they're not requiring ID, but gosh, gee Willikers Beaver, we can't do that."
You need ID to gamble. You need ID to buy liquor. You need ID to buy any kind of smoking product of any sort. You need ID to drive. You need ID to get on an airplane. You need ID to do any kind of banking.
Culture, every person who went into that Jimmy Kimmel studio to sit in the audience, I'll guarantee you had to present ID to do so.
Yeah, no, and that's the other thing. I mean, even at their own convention events, you have to present them with ID. I had to cough up my ID when I went to the Turning Point USA event.
Every other country in the world requires ID.
Voter ID. Yeah, and that's been the loophole that I believe has been taken advantage of for years. And that's
I can't drive without ID, Culture.
I know.
I can't transverse the roadways of the United States. I can't go anywhere without ID.
I know, and yet a bunch of IDs were issued fraudulently to supposed truck drivers who can't even read or understand the language. So we've got problems.
He said something in that caption about you'll have to stand in line to vote. And I'm going, been to the DMV lately?
Right. So a little bit more, lines? A little bit more, and then I want to get your thoughts on this, Lou. But late night, this is why the ratings have been trashed. We have gone from a time when Johnny Carson was pulling 20 million viewers per night. We've gone from a time when Leno and Letterman were pulling 12, 14 million to 2. They're pulling 2 million and losing to cable news.
It's about fixing the election. He made a big mess in Iran. It looks like we bombed a school and he's lying about it.
And he's on network TV citing propaganda from Iran. This man has no low he will not go to except for his ratings. Lou, this is pathetic.
Yes, but it's Jimmy Kimmel. So what else is new?
It's totally, I mean, it's just, it is so objectionable that Disney does this. Okay, so here's the defense, okay? Now, they can't defend Jimmy Kimmel, but they're trying to defend Stephen Colbert. So here it is, okay? The letters from Leo says Pope Leo and Stephen Colbert are the only things Americans actually like. A new NBC poll finds the Pope and the comedian at the top, with every other thing underwater. Okay, let's see if it's true. You ready, folks? Let's find out if it's actually true. A new NBC News poll tested the favorability of 14 figures. Okay, so only 14 things are tested, and institutions in American life. The results contain a remarkable verdict about what this country actually admires. Pope Leo finished first. His net favorability rating stands at plus 34, with 42% of registered voters showing him positively and 8% negatively. Now, that adds up to 50%. So I'm already saying that there's no way this poll's real. Stephen Colbert came in second at plus 10. After that, the list collapses into a sea of red. Trump reportedly sits at negative 12, J.D. Vance negative 11. At the very bottom side, it says, alongside Iran sits artificial intelligence negative 20. Let's see if that's true. No, it's not true. Look at what's really at the bottom of this. So even in a poll that is clearly being rigged, okay, the DMC is at the bottom. DNC is at the bottom. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the effort.
I wonder if they asked those people, they said, how do you feel about Pope Leo? And by the way, being the Pope, he's against abortion. If that number would hold up.
It'd be interesting, wouldn't it? There is an effort afoot to hide and obfuscate just how badly late night has been destroyed. They want you to believe that unpopular figures are very popular, but the only thing that matters, the ratings. And I'm telling you, Culture, it is much more difficult these days for me to get a hold of the ratings for these shows. There used to be article after article after Kimmel came back, after Disney brought him back, when Hollywood said, we will boycott you, we will not send you actors, producers, directors, etc. Once that happened and they brought Kimmel back after he lied about Charlie Kirk, it was article after article about how great the ratings were. And suddenly, Culture, I can't hardly find anything. It takes forever to get updated ratings on this. Are you shocked? Are you amazed? Unmute and let us know your thoughts, Culture.
No, I'm not shocked. I'm not amazed. I'm frustrated. Again, I'm more frustrated with the fact that ABC supposedly has news programming, and they have a group of ladies that lie all the time during daytime TV pretending to be a news product. They have this guy on late night TV misrepresenting the truth like I've never seen a late night host do in my life. Close second, of course, is Colbert. But none of these people are acting with the authenticity required for them to carry over into the next stage, which is a problem, and why I think Jimmy Kimmel's exit now is better for his overall career because he wouldn't survive in the digital age. He would get absolutely destroyed because of his lack of credibility. And he's not funny. I mean, as I think Lou said this a few moments ago, he's not funny. The guy is what was the comedian that we used to tell stories and pretend that he was telling jokes? He went around the country, did arena tours. For a while, he was all the rage at the colleges. I can't remember his name, but he's completely worthless as a comedian. And everybody just, for whatever reason, bought into the shtick. Well, nobody's buying into this guy's shtick anymore. In fact, I think everybody was tired of his shtick about, 8-9 years ago. Same problem that Colbert has, which is why I'm kind of grateful he's gone. But Disney needs to do better. They need to vet his material more because clearly he's misrepresenting actual events and doing it for no other reason than to be, overtly political. So
right. Lou, when we look back at my thoughts on this, I had said up until now that I thought late night would survive. I thought that these guys would go extinct, but Jimmy Fallon would still be there and Greg Gutfeld would still be there. And I'm changing my mind now. Lou, I think that Colbert and Kimmel are going to go away. I think Fallon's ratings are so low that he's becoming irrelevant. And at that point, I think Gutfeld's just a show. It's not a genre. I think you can't have a single show that's doing anything and say, well, that's still late night. No, that's just Greg Gutfeld doing it.
Yeah,
and
you're
it's
right.
Sad to me,
he is his own genre, so to speak, and separate from all these other people. But then when he started, it was never to be another Johnny Carson or another Jimmy Kimmel or another anybody. It's his own shtick.
But it's sad to me to see this happen to late night, Lou. It was an institution. It was something that we all did as a shared society.
Oh, never mind late night. What about all the morning shows and their increasing irrelevance? And the middle of the day talk shows like The View and, the old joke is about, the dogs won't eat the food.
Right. But we feel sorry for them. Even from the new media, we feel sorry for these guys because they destroyed something they were given, something they didn't build, they didn't create it. They just took it and made a muck of it. They just razed it to the ground.
Look, for somebody who used to really appreciate late night television, I was the guy that if I wasn't interested in SportsCenter or if the wrong team was on SportsCenter, I would flip over to the late night shows to go to bed to. I'd go to sleep to a lot of the classic comedians that aren't around anymore. I even used to go to sleep with Jay Leno in the room. Normally, that wasn't my thing.
Not literally.
Not literally. Yeah,
okay, sure. just checking. Just checking.
Well, I mean, first of all, his chin wouldn't fit through the double doorway.
You be nice to Jay. Be nice to Jay.
No. I love the guy. I think he's great. But like the greats, like Johnny Carson and many others that would have on brilliant actual comedians with them all the time. Don Rickles, famously, and Robin Williams and Mr. Winters. Yeah, Mr. Winters, yeah. And like I can go through a list of these people. I mean, and oftentimes, now I go back looking for things like TV Land or Nick at Night or whatnot, looking for the classic comedies of old. And these are the people who could entertain you anywhere, anytime. And they were wonderfully brilliant on these talk shows. You don't get that from modern Jimmy Kimmel or Colbert or anybody else. You get politically guided progressive talking points, and they to almost an offensive degree. It's like a propaganda rally that you're forced to attend, if you happen to live in the CCP. So I'm tired of that. I just
and also, if you think about it, Kimmel or Colbert or any of these guys, with a staff of, let's say, 5 writers and a couple of producers to book the guests, they could do that show for a whole hell of a lot less than 100 employees and God knows how much money. And so on a purely cost-benefit analysis, the networks are saying, well, how long are we going to subsidize this unfunny stuff that nobody wants to watch?
Right.
They've got to. Put aside the politics. It doesn't pay its way.
Is that, are there any union rules here that are forcing this, Lou, that they cannot downsize and cut this thing in half?
Well, I don't think so. Obviously, there's staffing rules as far as the cameras and the assistants and that sort of thing. And that the people who are doing the sets have to be in the union and that sort of thing. But as far as how many, my God, 100 people to put on that show 4 nights a week? That's just...
All to prop up losses every single week. And folks, we're still with this. They told you that Kimmel was going to be the most popular guy, and they're telling you Stephen Colbert is, you know, he's right up there with the Pope. But we're here sitting here covering the ratings still. Everybody else has left. Everybody else has gone their way. We're here to say, no, these people destroyed an entire genre of TV. These people took something you loved, entertainment, and they wiped it away, and they sacrificed it at the altar of politics. And that's not okay with us. So we'll continue to cover the fall and heed the call for understanding entertainment. There he is, Jimmy Kimmel, in his pajamas. It's probably the way he walks through life. The Hollyweirds don't understand how it is we do what we do, bringing you video after video every single day of the utmost highest excellence and quality. But folks, we do it because of you. We appreciate you. You are seen and heard here on the Pro Channel. Make your voices heard, folks, by doing one last thing before we say goodbye for a short time. Consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and you know what? That notification bell, click it and stick it to the algorithms. Also, drop a comment down below and let us know your thoughts. And don't forget, folks, we've got even more content on the way. If you'd like to become a member, it's just the price of a soda per month, and you'll gain access to all kinds of exclusive content beyond what the public sees, including archival footage of the Pro Show that goes away after just a few days from its public release. Folks, we hope we get the honor of spending time with you again soon, and until then, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.